What up, guys? This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks on Spotify and YouTube, episode 223. Thank you guys for subscribing, watching, listening to the podcast, spreading the word about the podcast. We're back at it again. Quite a few things. We got a couple of comedy shows to talk about. We got Foodieland. We got some Chargers draft picks. So we got a few things to talk about. Let's start with comedy show. So I got to see Justin Fox do his comedy show at the Yellowdoor, downtown San Diego, top of Mr. Temple Cantina. There was also a show at the Laugh Factory. Got to see Tim Gaither. So let's start with the Yellowdoor. Justin Fox, great guy. He has a show out in Hemet. I think it's called Derbies out there in Hemet. So he does a show out there. Cool guy. This show at the Yellowdoor is pretty cool. He got to go up first, kick things off, talked about, life, life at a certain height, and he does talk about pink eye. Apparently, that's a thing. Yeah, I can't imagine when you're in an elevator and everyone lets out those silent killers, but yeah, that's pretty funny actually. Yeah, honestly, he had quite a few jokes, and it's kind of a cold open. Other than that, the crowd that was there, they're starting to kind of warm up to Justin, and he had his moments, but sometimes he kind of had sometimes when it was just kind of chill, and you're kind of waiting for that funny thing to happen. But overall, I would say Justin Fox, 8 out of 10. Next person to go up, Courtney Bird, always funny lady, and always she would throw in a couple of new ones here and there, and she did talk about dating, and then the type of guys that you find on these dating apps and stuff. So I would say she was probably the funniest person on the lineup actually, and it's actually nice to kind of see her quite a few times, and she's very good, and she's always guaranteed to make people laugh in the crowd. So yeah, she was an 8.6 out of 10. Next person to go up was Eddie Whiteman. So he said he was a former cop, and he did talk about parts of his job back then, and he did a little bit of crowd work. From what I remembered, he actually made eye contact with me, and I just happened to blurt out, I used to like games like Madden and Mario Kart. I was eating my food, and he just happened to see me. So, oh, and apparently I mentioned that Stacey Allen got up and left, and then, I told Eddie that the guy was actually sitting here, but he left, and then I just said probably didn't like his burger. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I always have something to say, but for the most part, it was a fun set from Eddie. So, I gotta say, Eddie was an 8.5 out of 10. Next person to go up was Austin Train. He has a few new jokes. Talk about autism like usual. Got Trains, talks about his grandpa, Spectrum, dating. Um, I would say, for the most part, about half of the set, people got to laugh quite a bit. And then there were some laughs, but not as big as the other half. So, um, oh yeah, I think there's something about women's sports that I think he had talked about. uh, yeah, guy's funny. I want to say Austin trained 8.5 out of 10. Next person, I think it's the first time I've seen this lady. Her name is Robin Finch. She did talk about dating. Um, and I think she kind of talked about the guys on the lineup so far. Well, talked about the venue. She had some funny stuff, and then there were some that were kind of chill, but then, she finished strong. And, um, I wouldn't mind seeing her again. I wouldn't say that she was a 8.3 out of 10. Next, we got Jonathan Bird. Um, Jonathan Bird, interesting guy. He did talk about who he looks like. Um, he does remind me of the guy from Bill and Ted, Excellent Adventures. He does remind me of Larry Bird a little bit. Um, yeah, quite a bit of you guys. So he talked about that for a while. And then after a little while, you can kind of see it once the name and the pictures of previous celebrities kind of pop up in your mind, and you can kind of see the resemblance. So overall, guy was pretty funny for the most part. 8.4 out of 10. So last person to go up, I guess is your headliner, Alan Henderson. Did most of the crowd work. Talked about dating. Kind of like picking out couples in the crowd. Oh, it was great stuff. I think I sat in the second row, so I was pretty close to the stage. So overall, Alan Anderson, pretty good. Crowd was they like his crowd work because, like, in a way, it's always a little bit different each time, especially since how people tell their story when he sees couples in the crowd. Well, and I think there was a lady in the front row, sitting by herself, talked about how she broke up recently. So I think, oh, I'm trying to remember. It was either Eddie or Alan that talked about. It might have been Eddie. Um, how there's some good-looking guys in the crowd, and she would consider some of these guys, and I guess she had to look at me because I guess I was a prospect person to pick out in the crowd, and then she happened to look over to me. But overall, it's kind of cool being part of the show. But yeah, Alan usually has his usual funny jokes. Uh, That's pretty funny though. I want to say Alan Henderson, 8.6 out of 10. So there was another show I went to. It was the Laugh Factory. It was hosted by Kristy Matsutani. The headliner was Tim Gaither, and first time seeing the guy. And Kristy started off. She had some funny jokes, and she did talk about her lookalike. She talked about dating. She did talk about her mom. Um, the funniest part that I remembered was her bit about, um, she talked about she did kind of reference her own body, so she owns up her body image. But it was just kind of cool that she mentioned something about sexual harassment, but it's only sexual harassment if, well, yeah, it's only sexual harassment if something is there. And I was like, I had to process that for a second because you know, maybe that's true. If there's nothing there, there's no harassment. If there's stuff there, of course you get harassment. So yeah, that's kind of a funny one. I like that from Kristy. Uh, yeah, she talked about dating and stuff, and you know, this crowd, if most of them have seen her before or not have seen her before, she did pretty well, and the crowd was really into her set. And you know, as a cold open, it's sometimes kind of hard, but honestly, Kristy is really good. So, Kristy Matsutani, 8.7 out of 10. Next person to go up, I believe it's Jeremy Shapiro. Um, I think it's my first time seeing the guy, and I think he talked about dating as well. Um, I think at one point he was leaning against the microphone stand because I think he had some questions for the crowd, and I think it was in relation as of what if, you know, prospects, if he thinks that he looks that good and he wants to ask the crowd. I think it was kind of that kind of vibe of his first few minutes, and then yeah, he has a few great jokes. I could tell white people liked him. Um, but I have him as an 8.5 out of 10. And you know, strangely, his I think his set was probably like, I guess you could say, the worst of the 6 people that went up. 8.5 was pretty good, but that tells you that the rest of the lineup was pretty good in the show. And you can tell the people really liked the show and they got really into it. Next person that went up was West Sample. Guy was yeah, it was pretty funny, and I remember laughing for a good half of his set. So, and you know, I think the rest of the crowd was like that too. So he has some really good material, and it's always nice to see some new comics. I want to say Wes Sample was 8.6 out of 10. Another person, first time seeing this lady, her name is Amanda Fisk, and she did talk about online bullying, um, and I think she said that she's bi, and I think she mentioned that she's into a certain male or female, not at the same time, but whatever the mood in the month strikes, I guess. She'll go after women or she'll go after guys. So that's pretty cool. And she's pretty cool to talk to, actually, after the show. But yeah, she did talk about like cyberbullying, I guess guys or gals that makes her friends sad after a date or something, and then put the date on blast. You know, get a group of people to kind of say mean things to the person who broke up with the friend. So, um, oh, she has this funny joke about breakfast at Tiffany's. That was kind of cool. But she's pretty good, and she did some crowd work too, and I think the crowd work went pretty well. And main thing is, crowd liked her a lot. So I would say Amanda Fisk, 8.8 out of 10. The next person that went up was Anthony Hill. Wow, the guy was pretty funny. Uh, I I would say I was laughing almost 90% of the entire set, so the guy was pretty good. Um, and yeah, he's a cool guy to talk to, and I might have talked to him about sports after the show, but yeah. Same with Wes Sample. So, but yeah, I actually that's the second time I met a comic by the name of Anthony Hill. There was a guy I think here around here in San Diego, and yeah, I told him about the Yellow Door. But it's cool that Anthony Hill, a second Anthony Hill, pops up, and cool guy. Kind of liked him a lot. Super funny. Uh, I want to say Anthony Hill was a 9.3 out of 10. And then we got a headliner. The reason why the crowd was there, Tim Gaither. Guy's from out of town. I think he lives in LA, but I think he used to live in Texas. So he had some stuff about politics. He had stuff about dating. He had stuff about how you should talk crappy about the opposite sex if you kind of want to, get in the good graces of a beautiful companion. Just talk crap about them. Treat them like shit, I guess. Because, I'm pretty sure, I think it's because of the fact that beautiful people have been told they're beautiful their whole lives. So they kind of wanted something different. Don't want to hear the same stuff over and over. And I get that. And he tried it on a woman on the front row. So, but it's kind of cool how Tim Gaither kind of talks about politics, and sometimes it's just that it's not so black and white with the political parties, and because there's a lot of cons about both parties, and there's some pros, but it's just knowing what each candidate stands for, and then reasons why we even have a party system. So it's kind of cool because I like how Tim Gaither kind of lays it out, tell it as it is, tells the truth, see the bullshit. So guy is super funny. I've talked to him for a little bit. Guy is pretty cool, and I would see him again, and I would recommend him and his show to anybody, honestly. Really good show. Overall, Tim Gaither, I want to say he was a 9.4 out of 10. Well, the Los Angeles Chargers, the schedule release is today at 5 o'clock Pacific time. So we already know that the Chargers are going to be playing in Brazil, and it turns out, from a spoiler from Travis Kelce, the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, he already said he's traveling to Brazil, and that already tells us that the Chargers are playing the Chiefs week 1 in Brazil. And the game is free on YouTube or YouTube TV, so that's kind of cool. Can't wait to see how the season's going to go, and how many games the Chargers might be in prime time. So can't wait to see how the schedule is. The Eagles are on the home schedule for the Chargers. The Commanders are also on the home schedule of the Chargers. The Minnesota Vikings are also on the home schedule for the Chargers. So SoFi Stadium is going to be pretty rocking and raucous and loud, and it's going to be the place to be 8 times out of the year. Because the ninth home game is the Brazil game. So, but yeah, the Chargers did a pretty good draft, actually. They got a running back from North Carolina, Omari and Hampton. Guy looked pretty good on tape, and apparently his running back's coach in North Carolina is Nathan Means, former Chargers running back. And, well, Bill Belichick is now the head coach of North Carolina, so I guess. It should be interesting how Bill Belichick runs the North Carolina football team, but overall, Omari and Hampton should be a great asset to the Chargers. You need a stable, proficient running back to kind of complement the free agent 1-year deal running backs that we're getting, because we are getting Najee Harris. on the team. So it'd be kind of cool seeing Najee Harris and Omari Hampton work as a tandem running back committee, help support Justin Herbert and the Chargers. So that was the first round pick. Second round pick was a guy from Mississippi, Trey Harris, one of the top tier receivers in the draft. So the Chargers will have Trey Harris. They have Quentin Johnston. They have Rod McConkey. And so we'll see how that receiver room is going to be with Justin Herbert and paired up with the running backs Najee Harris and Omari and Hampton. Yeah, Chargers did pretty much pick from all the Power 5 schools. So the Chargers also got Jamari Caldwell from the Oregon Ducks. I believe he was a defensive lineman, defensive tackle. That was a third round pick. And then you got fourth round Kyle Kennard from, I think that's South Carolina. So he was a edge rusher. And then fifth round, looks like the Chargers got Keandre Lambert-Smith from Auburn. I believe he was a what it looks like a wide receiver. You know, if I remember correctly, yeah, so that could be quite an addition. Might have been one of the best receiver out of Auburn in recent years. And then, I guess there was another fifth round pick. Rondé Gadsden II from Syracuse, tight end. I believe his dad, senior, caught the very last touchdown pass for Dan Marino. Isn't that something? Then in the sixth round, it looks like Chargers got Branson Taylor from Pittsburgh. Looks like defensive lineman. I mean, offensive lineman. Then the Chargers also got R.J. Mickens from Clemson. He's a safety. And the Chargers' last pick was Chickwazy Bridges from Florida. I believe he played cornerback. So, I gotta say, Chargers might have had some good defensive help, and the team is just getting better on defense. And, well, the objective was to get Justin Herbert some more weapons. So, hopefully, Chargers can protect Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert can pass a lot of weapons on the field. We got running backs to help him out. So hopefully, this could be a good year for the Chargers. And can't wait to see what the schedule looks like going forward. All we know is the Chargers and Chiefs are playing in Brazil week 1, and the Chargers are the home team. That's pretty cool. Well, NBA playoffs. What can I say? The number 1 seed, Oklahoma City Thunder, they're up 3-2 in the second round against the Denver Nuggets, the number 4 seed of the West. The number 6 seed, Minnesota Timberwolves, they're looking pretty good. They're up 3-1 on the Golden State Warriors, the number 7 seed. And Steph Curry is hurt. Hamstring issue, but he might come back for Game 5. So that would be tonight's the night So hopefully the Warriors can get back into the series. Otherwise, Minnesota is going to probably close out the series tonight at home. And, well, you could be looking at Wolves, number 6 seed, and the number 1 seeded of the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, Thunder and Wolves. That's actually pretty, not too bad of a Western Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Finals, number 1 seed, Cleveland Cavaliers. They got hurt and they got outplayed. They lost 4-1 to the number 4 seed Indiana Pacers. So Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Tonight we got the number 2 seed Boston Celtics down 3-1. They lost Jason Tatum. He tore his ACL. So all they have is Jaylen Brown. So Celtics are favored tonight to win Game 5, but I don't know. The Knicks look pretty good, and the Knicks might actually close out the series tonight in Boston. So yeah, the Knicks are number 4 seed and number 3 seed, and they look like they're about to just wipe out the Boston Celtics, the defending NBA champions, who had a soft, easy path to the NBA championship last season because every single superstar in every round did not play against the Boston Celtics. So it is what it is. Anywho, Knicks, Pacers, that's an old-fashioned rivalry for the Eastern Conference Finals, so can't wait to see that one. But if anything, I think I like to see the Oklahoma City Thunder pull it out as NBA champions. So, plus I might actually win either a sandwich or pizza or something. So, I know I'm owed some kind of food item for winning the March Madness and about to win the NBA playoff bet. So, Padres are doing good. They're 26-15. They're playing the Angels tonight. Tonight's a reversible bucket hat. They have the logos from the 1984 World Series team and the logos from the 1998 World Series team as well. So both teams went to the World Series. You got those logos on the bucket hat. That'd be actually pretty cool to get. We'll see. But yeah, Padres did something pretty impressive last weekend. They beat the Colorado Rockies 13-9 on Friday night. Beat them 21-0 Saturday night, but they lost the third game on Sunday 9-3. And for what I was reading and hearing about was that the San Diego Padres, with a 21-0 victory shutout, that was the first time it was a lopsided shutout since 1900. So what's interesting was that the record for runs in a game for the Padres was 24 runs, and the record for most hits in a game for the Padres was 24 hits. Turns out, with the 21 runs they scored, they got 24 hits. So they tied the record. So yeah, Padres are record breakers. So and I think Stephen Kolek was pitching, so he's had 2 good starts for the Padres. So I actually picked him up in fantasy baseball. So hopefully he does well going forward. Yeah, and oh yeah, Foodieland. Okay, can't forget about Foodieland. So I went to Foodieland May 2nd, May 3rd, May 4th. So Foodieland Del Mar 2025. Of course, I had to go all 3 days. And May 2nd, Friday, the opener. They usually offer $4 tickets if you get it early, which is always a nice way to save a few bucks, and it gets put towards the food items. Woo! I tried out quite a bit of stuff. I did get this shrimp pork wontons from Drunken Dumpling. Really good stuff. Really tasty. I never had a bad item from their place before. Gotta say, their wontons, 9 out of 10. Easily 9 out of 10. I also got grilled scallops from this grilled octopus vendor. I think it's Molly's Kitchen. They give you 4 big pieces of scallop on a skewer, and honestly, those scallops were really good. I want to say 9 out of 10. Those are really good scallops, especially at a food festival. I believe it. Oh, I had surf and turf fries from Seafood Babes. Really good carne asada steak and grilled shrimp on top of French fries. And it just so happens they have the special aioli sauce they put all over the steak, the shrimp, and the fries. I gotta say, those fries were 9.5 out of 10. Good stuff from Seafood Babes. They also sell surf and turf nachos, surf and turf quesadilla, and surf and turf burrito. But surf and turf fries was right because, you know, a lot of times I kind of want to use a fork and eat. I don't want to use my hands to touch the food sometimes. So, oh, and I had an ice cream garden. Same place they do grilled cheese sandwiches. So I think they're called the Ice Cream Garden Cali. So I got to pick strawberry ice cream as the base of the flower pot, which looks like a flower pot. But the soil layer, it was peanut butter crumbs, peanut butter cookie crumbs. So, and they put a little plant on top, and then they put like little candies on top. So it was pretty tasty. Ice cream garden, gotta have. I want to say 9 out of 10. Let's see. So that was pretty awesome to go on first day. Second day, that was super busy because everybody's off. Now, I did the smart thing and I bought the parking ahead of time, so you save like $4. You pay $16 if you buy ahead of time, $20 if you buy the day of. I gotta say, the ramp exit for Villa de la Valle out the 5 North, it's a nightmare, especially during the Foodieland Festival or just any other Del Mar event, I guess, because if you go down the ramp, it's one single lane going into the fair, and it only splits into 2 lanes when you get more than halfway down the ramp, so it's a very narrow ramp until it splits. So I was stuck on the ramp, kind of. I was just outside, about to go into the ramp. I was stuck there for almost 3 hours. Imagine that. But yeah. I went with one of the comedians, Vanessa Dawn. Had a good time. Had some good food. I got the oxtail tacos from Flavors. They were pretty good. A good portion of oxtail meat. It looked like you're just like a plain taco from the outside, but the inside has a good amount of meat. So I want to say oxtail tacos from Flavors, 8.7 out of 10. I did have a sushi taco from Honolulu Sushi Taco, and I got the shoyu ahi tuna sushi taco. They do fry the seaweed as a taco shell. Um, the ahi tuna was pretty good with the toppings with the shoyu. I want to say it was like a 8.7 out of 10. I'll go back there again next year if they're there, or if they have another one, a food festival again this year in San Diego. I'll do it. um, and then let's see. Oh, I got the waffle ice cream from Waffle Land. So they make the waffle, um, really really tasty, not too hard, not and it's really soft, just enough that you can tear it away with either your fingers or your utensil. I got the green tea mochi ice cream with it, and love letters, and Oreos, and it has strawberries. That is quite an ice cream dessert right there. That was a that was a 9.5 out of 10. Um, Day three, I went with my friend Trish, and she brought her son Eric. Um, we had a good time. Um, I got the giant squid deep fried on a skewer. That was really tasty. Um, I like how it was very, yeah, I like the crispiness. I like the meat. It is served hot though, so you might burn your mouth if you don't go cautiously slow. That will probably take you 20 minutes to finish. But um, gotta say, the vendor for that one, I believe, was like the same thing for like grilled cheese, I guess. So yeah, um, you know the giant squid? I think it's called deep fried giant squid. Anywho, that was one item. Um, let's see. Oh, I got to try the crispy pork belly from On Crunch. They served a garlic, red pepper, On Crunch pork belly served with rice. The pork belly crispy like that, it was really really good. Um, Gotta say it was a 9.25 out of 10. Uh, Essentially, I kind of wanted a little bit more with the pork belly and rice, but like maybe add maybe one more side with it and stuff. It's but the pork belly is really good. Um, and then I got the ube cheesecake in a jar. Um, so the ube cheesecake in a jar. So it comes in a mason jar, and they put the bottom layer as, I guess, peanuts, and the top layer is peanuts. But in the middle is the ube cheesecake in the middle from Ube Bread Box. Um, it takes about 20-25 minutes to kind of soften so that you can use your spoon and scoop out the ube cheesecake with the peanut butter, the peanuts. Um, I gotta say, it's uh, it's uh, it's really good. I'm glad that for one, the way that it was advertised, it drew my attention, which is always a good idea. Like the On Crunch has a poster of a female pig, um, like all like glammed up and stuff. That kind of drew my attention because like it just stands out, you know. and the ube is like all purple. So, um, but yeah, the ube cheesecake in a jar, I would say it was a 9 out of 10. So can't wait for the Foodieland to come back. So cross my fingers if it comes back to San Diego one more time. If not, but there is an open date at Snapdragon Stadium, which historically in the last couple of years they had been doing the second San Diego event at Snapdragon Stadium, and July 11th, the weekend of, does not have any soccer games, not for the San Diego Wave and not for the San Diego FC. So July 11th, 12, 13 could be a weekend for another food festival. They have the space, they have an open date. Anywho, guys, that's it for me. Gonna get some good food, watch some good comedy shows. Next time on episode 224, I will talk about two shows. One is, I believe it's Major Malfunction, and play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. Great shows by Cheryl Sunstein, and Alex Petit and McKay Bushnell. So wait for me to talk about those shows and some other food places. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll let you guys know what I think of the Chargers' schedule for 2025. Later, guys. You know the saying goes, boom! Tiggy Maximus, signing off. Baby. Alright, later, guys. Booyaka.